Good afternoon. And it's nice of you to start out with such a broad disclaimer. Don't follow any advice that I give on this our presentation because, well, you can follow it because I believe in it and I'll take responsibility for it. And if you want to find out more about what I do and believe in, I'd like you to go to my website, which is free for an unlimited time. It's drmcdougall.com. But I'm really pleased to be here because this gives me a chance to talk about something that's really, really important to me. Let's just kind of get right into it. What I'd like to talk to you about is solving today's most serious problems. And it's with the food. And you're going to hear a focus of go vegan. I'm going to extend it a little further than that. But we have some really big problems facing us that we have to solve, or, plain and simple, things are not going to be good. I've been in medicine for over 50 years. I've taken care of people in a lifestyle residential setting for 44 years. I've taken care of people I've taken care of over 12,000 patients. And I've done it with very simple things like fixing the food, getting a little exercise, cleaning up some bad habits, some clean air, some clean water. I mean, that's been my approach. It is the low-tech approach, a little sunshine. Whereas what I was trained as a medical doctor, I'm a board-certified internist. What I was trained as a medical doctor is to use high-tech, the latest and greatest drugs, technology, devices, surgery. Everybody's looking for the high-tech solution. But you know what? In my 44 years of experience, I can tell you, the solutions to problems come from low-tech, not high-tech. Very expensive high-tech, lots of side effects, and so little benefit. The past 16 years, I've been focusing on climate change, trying to keep our happy home, planet Earth. And that's the main reason that I feel this is a real opportunity for me to talk to you, is to talk to you about my beliefs on how we can add to this battle, this fight, this war to save planet Earth. I started getting interested in this 17 years ago when my first grandson was born. Changed my whole focus, my whole life. Any of you who are grandparents know exactly what I'm talking about. And what I was told 16 years ago when I got interested in climate change is the solution will come out of technology. We're still being told technology, or carbon capture, high tech. Somebody's going to invent something. Well, I think that we have as much chance of that happening as UFOs coming to planet Earth and aliens, galactic aliens, saving us by sucking up the carbon out of the atmosphere. No, we're going to have to deal with this one with low-tech approaches too, such as getting rid of the carbon, right? Well, I'm also going to talk to you about the importance of a healthy diet and solving the problems of climate change. And over the last, a little more than a year, we've been confronted with a world-changing pandemic, the virus COVID-19. And people have been looking for a high-tech solution, treatments and vaccinations and so on. If you've been following the news, you can see that there are a lot of shortcomings to this approach, to say the very least, the variants that are developing that will likely be resistant to the vaccines and other high-tech approaches. Whereas the way you deal with this problem too is with low-tech, simple solutions, public health measures, wearing masks, washing your hands, social distancing. And as I'm going to share with you, a starch-based diet. As a matter of fact, a starch-based diet is central. It's the common denominator in our major health crises that have been affecting us in the past and will affect us in the future. Diet is the common denominator to chronic diseases, climate change, and infectious diseases. And there are all kinds of offshoots to these particular problems. financial complications. They affect people's personal appearance. It involves your religious faith. We bring into this discussion important issues that I know are really important to you, such as animal suffering and, of course, loss of habitat. And me as a medical doctor, I've always been concerned about human suffering. Well, let's talk about the role that diet plays in these various major issues, these three issues. Let's talk about chronic disease. As a medical doctor, I take care of mostly chronic diseases. And these chronic diseases I found are due to food poisoning. Well, there are other chronic diseases that doctors take care of that are due to poisonings, like tobacco poisoning or alcohol poisoning. Well, occasionally lead poisoning, arsenic poisoning. What do you do to solve problems of poisoning? You stop the poisons and the body naturally heals, right? Well, that's the approach that I've taken over the last 44 years, is tried to identify the source of people's illnesses and have them fix that problem. The source, the food poisons are very simple. They fit into two categories. They're animal foods and free oils like olive oil, canola oil, safflower oil. Free oils, in other words, they're outside of the olive. And any animal products are the two categories of food poisonings. And the results, these are diseases of food poisoning. They're obesity, which affects somewhere around 30-40% of the population, soon to be as much as 70% of the population in the United States. 80% right now are overweight. And people who are obese, they have other problems like diabetes, heart disease, cancer, things that I take care of as a board-certified internist. Diabetes. In the United States, 14% of people are diabetic, type 2 diabetes, and half the people are pre-diabetic. And both type 1 and type 2 diabetes are caused by the rich Western diet. But if I talk to you during this lecture about diabetes, what I'm talking to you about is type 2 diabetes, unless I say otherwise. And of course, there are complications of diabetes, such as kidney failure and heart attacks, early death, osteoporosis, gangrene, etc. Heart disease. We're talking about diseases of your arteries. We're talking about 44,000 miles of arteries that get affected by food poisoning, by animal products and vegetable oils. These arteries get rotten, and whatever's affected as far as an organ is concerned, we named that disease after that organ that's compromised. For example, the heart. If you close down the blood vessels in the heart, you have a heart attack. In the brain, you have a stroke. You close down the arteries to the penis and you become impotent. Various kinds of arthritis are due to food poisoning, like, well, they're the inflammatory arthritises, rheumatoid, psoriatic, and lupus, and nonspecific arthritis. Various kinds of cancer like colon, breast, prostate, uterus. Where would you think that intestinal problems come from but what you put into your intestines? And so we have the people who invented the purple pill educating us about gastroesophageal reflux disease. So kind of them to create a market. And of course, people are buying all kinds of acids because they're sick. The intestinal tract is sick beginning at the top and sick also at the bottom. Constipation, I can tell you as a medical doctor, having the ability to ask people very personal questions, constipation's the norm.